Fantastic. Don't want that, don't want that. Turn on some transcripts. That never works. Put it up there. All right, everyone, you know the drill. Welcome to another lecture by yours truly. I'm Kyle. If anyone forgot, after the past 72 hours, we have not been talking. It is time for another rendition of learning a lot of stuff, throwing a lot of things at you, you becoming very overwhelmed, kind of mad at me, but you're going to catch up later, so it's okay. Class. Yeah, I know the drill with all you too. It's okay. It's okay. So remember, take that deep breath, bring that water out, bring that Stein, maybe beer. It's up to your discretion. I never recommend it, but whatever, can't stop you. Or popcorn or whatever, coffee, that would be nice. Whatever you need. But be with me here right now. Let's learn this stuff. Today we're going to be going over Thymeleaf views. For that, as always, we got our famous announcements. Got a few actually here for today, so please pay attention. If you all, or if anyone has comments, suggestions, questions, complaints, downright bad words to use with me about the lecture, feel free to reach out to me, direct message me, schedule a one-on-one. I would love to hear your feedback. If you want to send it to Greg and then him send it to me anonymously, that's fine too. I'm a-okay with any way you want to share your thoughts about lecture. I know I'm not perfect. I use pencil every day. I make a lot of mistakes, and therefore I'm always trying to better myself, and especially with lecture. You're here trying to learn. So if I'm not getting something across to you because this lecture is missing something, tell me that, and I will try to fix that. Continuing on, I will have limited access to Slack this weekend. I unfortunately have to go out of town. As always, you know, I travel. Unfortunately, this one is not for fun necessarily. So I will have limited access to Slack. If you need me, feel free to direct message me or Slack me. I will just get back to you as soon as I can, but there might be a delay. That leading in and all kind of mixing together with each other, you're going to be having a guest lecturer on Monday. That might, right now it is still up in the air. The situation of why I'm leaving to Michigan it was kind of sprung up on me. So we're making sure that we have that guest lecturer figured out, but you will have one on Monday. More to come on that. We'll just do an announcement about who it's going to be. So if you need anything, let me see. All right. Oh, let me go to questions here too. Oh, Regan, thank you very much. And now we're laughing. That's the best script ever. That's awesome. Jason, thank you. All right, going back over the lecture questions. Awesome. These are my announcements. So yeah, before we hop into our Thymeleaf stuff and everything else, any questions, comments, concerns before we get on going? All right, as always too, if you have any issues with assignment 1 or assignment 2 or need to get those completed, remember to reach out to your TAs and TFs immediately, as well as myself, to get you caught up on those assignments and get them finished, because 3 and 4 are coming down the pipeline pretty quickly. All right, that's it. Let's go ahead and get started. And we're going to start this lecture out by you all talking to me this time. Help me out here. How would I go ahead and build a class called Cat Controller? Talk me through it.
Public class cat controller.
Very good. That's all we do. Public class cat controller. You might be guessing the second question here. If I want to turn this class into an actual controller, what do I do?
Put the annotation cat controller on the top.
Very good. Yeah, we add that annotation, that very powerful annotation at controller. This will turn this class into that. Continuing on, what would I need to do to add a route for /cats to this method?
And a get mapping?
It's going to be a get mapping because we want to see information. We want to show a page. So yes, it's going to be a get mapping. Very good. So I'm going to return some HTML here. What second annotation do we always use if we return HTML in this way?
Response body?
Body. Very good. Response body. Absolutely. At tag response body there. Fantastic, everyone. To add a little bit more to it, what if we wanted to take in a parameter? like type equals calico. What are we going to do there? What do we add? We're taking
We
in a
add
parameter.
that name thing in the in the
Request param.
yeah, request param.
There, okay, yep, I thought I heard it. Request param, absolutely nice. I apologize, I have a little bit of a typo here. Yes, at request param is correct. I'm missing the data type. It should be string.
There was at first I was going to say there was an error, a syntax at first I thought the parenthesis was supposed to be a bracket.
Oh, nope, it's definitely parentheses. I just had a blank there so we could put the answer in. But yeah, very good call out. The other typo is that it should be request param with that data type string for type there. So I apologize, I don't have this string, the data type, but that should be there. It won't also be in this next one, and I apologize for that too. But let's go ahead and move on a little bit further. Okay, so we did our get mapping. That's how we see information. That's how we get the page and show it to our user. But things change up when we start interacting with a web page. So let's bring in a search. What happens when I try to search for a type of cat and I press that search button? Maybe I search for calico and I press that search button. What kind of mapping do we use for this?
Post.
A post mapping, very good. Because, and what occurred? What specifically occurred? Starts with an E.
Events.
Very good. An event occurred because you clicked a button. When we click a button or even type in a text box, events are occurring. Posts are how we send information back during one of those events. So we post our information back to our controller. Fantastic. So real quick, what we're going to do is that we're going to come over here and build that controller that we just saw. So new Java class, and then we call it cat controller. Make sure I spelled that right. Very good. Perfect. And so the first thing we did was what? What do we do first whenever we go into our classes for our controllers?
Add controller.
Very good. Immediately add controller. Awesome, awesome. And then to make it easy on us, what we did is that we did a get mapping there. There we go, and I'm going to go and import these. Awesome. Now we have our cat controller, and we're returning this HTML just like this in our response body. Perfect, perfect. All righty. So let's go ahead and move on. Just want to get that ready for us as we keep going. More questions to you all. Where are you at with all of this? If I want to create a mapping that shows HTML, what kind of annotation am I going to use?
Get mapping.
Very good. A get mapping. I'm going to show the HTML. I want to view a page. You're going to get a get. You're going to use a get mapping there. What about if I wanted to make a classic controller? Our favorite one.
Add controller.
Very good. Act controller. Awesome, awesome. What if I wanted to create a JUnit test?
At test.
Chat test.
Very good. At test. Awesome job. Continuing on, what if I wanted to make a mapping that accepts data after a button click or some kind of event?
Postman.
Very good. It's that post mapping. Remember, post mappings are post events. After events occurs, they take in that information so we can do something. Fantastic. What if I wanted to customize the equals method or any method?
At override.
Very good. At override. Fantastic. What if I wanted to accept a path variable in my parameters?
Request param.
Got path right. But there's one more word. It is path variable.
Path variable.
Path variable. Remember, this is what it's going to look like. We're going to get those get mappings. We're going to have our public string, our method name, and then path variable inside of those parameters. So if I do /cats/calico, calico would be the path variable in that. So that's how we would do that. What if I wanted to run some code before all my tests run in JUnit? And the answer is in that exact question. Very good, very good. It is at before. Remember that. Yeah, I know we haven't seen JUnits in a while, but we still need to remember that. All right. So up until this point, any questions? Any questions? Any questions? We got those gears going? Yeah? Yeah, all right. Whether or not, we're gonna keep going then. Let's learn more stuff. All right. As you know, in the past few lectures, HTML has popped its head back up. Welcome back, HTML. As we know in web applications, things that are on the web, HTML plays a big part. So we know HTML is not going anywhere. So what, oh, never mind. You guys keep talking to me. I forgot about this fun part. Help me and bring HTML back into our lives. What tags do we always use to start building a web page?
HTML.
Very good, HTML. You could also give me doc type. That's true. You could put those above HTML, but we're always looking for these to truly start the web page itself, HTML. How about this? What tags do we indicate the things that we start to see? We actually see.
Head.
What was it?
Body.
Body. Remember, we see the body. Everything, all of our information, all of our metadata, things about our website are in the head. Our personalities are in our head. The body is what another individual sees. So the body, very good. How do we create a header text of cats with the size of 1? What tag do we use there?
H1.
Very good, an H1, awesome job. And then go ahead, just for you guys' sake, we're gonna just add a little bit more HTML, just like that. We're gonna add some H3, we can add a paragraph about cats. Yes, is this whole lecture about cats? It is absolutely all about cats. I was having a cat's heyday last time I made this one. We're gonna add images of cats, and why not add some article of cats, and etc. You can add a ton of HTML into a page, and it can get pretty big pretty fast. If you just inspect any website you go to, whatever news site you go to, even like any kind of social media, and you go through their HTML, it's gigantic. So large HTML is common. But also, if we try to take a lot of HTML and pack it into a controller, it can get really fat really quick. So take a look at this. This is just with a header, a subheader, and a sentence in a paragraph. And it's already taking up 1/4 of this screen, basically. When we see all of this HTML like this out here, in quotes, do we really feel that it's truly optimized? Does this like feel really nice to use? At least whenever I'm building the examples, I absolutely hate it because I have to build giant strings in order to just get my point across for HTML. So to get around this, today we're going to be introducing a concept called templates. A template is something that is going to save our skin so much when actually we're running this HTML. We're going to be taking this HTML, and we're actually going to be placing it in something that will be a separate file that we can render, again, called templates. Now, to start setting up templates, what we need to do, if anyone's following along, typically what you have to do is if you go to your build, or what is it? Yeah, build Gradle right here. What we need to do is that if you want to add Thymeleaf to your existing project or any project in general, you add this line here. So for you right now, or even the recording, if you need to add Thymeleaf, it is this line right here. Once you add this line, you go up to your Gradle, which remember is on the right here, click Gradle, and then you click this Reload All Gradle Projects icon. This will bring Thymeleaf into your application. This is step number 1. Step number 2 is that we're going to go to our resources here, which are typically in Spring Boot applications. If you're missing the resources folder, double check that you're actually in a Spring Boot application. You right click on resources. Now what I wanted to do to IntelliJ, right click on resources, new, and then you click directory. Here, we're going to create templates, templates, and press enter. We just created a folder called templates. If you're asking yourself, was static.css always in resources? It was not. I actually added that. Same way you do it is right click, you press new, directory, and then you say styles, and then you'd say CSS. I already have it created, so I'm not going to create it again here, but that's how you do that. Then I have styles.css. I have very just basic CSS inside of here. We're not going to be really using this much today. I'm just showing you things that you will see when you're working with Thymeleaf from here on out. All right, we have our templates folder created, but we have no idea what a template even is or what it looks like. So let's keep digging. Wrong way, there we go. Let's look at what an actual template is. Templates look a lot like HTML. Why? Because we first bring in that HTML tag right out of the gate. You start with HTML. But take a very close look here. I'm sure you've already noticed that there's something extra that we've actually added already. It's this line here to the HTML tag itself. XMLNS:/th equals, and then the Thymeleaf website. What this is telling our compiler to go out and get the Thymeleaf, essentially the Thymeleaf tag and reference to bring into our HTML so we can use this library. And how we denote that in our HTML is through this line that's highlighted. After that, our HTML starts the exact same. We include our head and body. We include our title inside of our head. And then we can say cats on H1, H3, welcome to the greatest cat page ever, and then maybe some more things in your paragraphs. This is the start of a template. In addition, we also have to give our templates names. The most common named template that you will see is called index.html. Why is it called index.html? Why is it called index.html? Because index is the common word for homepage in the development community. Every homepage out there has an index. An index is the starting point. It's where the web looks to begin a website, at your index, AKA your homepage. So let's go ahead real quick, and we're going to create our first template. We're going to go back to here, right click, new, file. We're going to call it index.html. I don't know why IntelliJ is being like this today. There you go. All right. First things first, we start out with our HTML tag. HTML, then XMLNS:/th equals, and then that Thymeleaf website. There we go. Awesome, and then we have our HTML in there. We then say head, and I'm gonna go ahead and just type this out very quickly. You might, if you have gone through the exercises with the videos, you might already also have the templates generated for you within, or automatically, so a live template already created. I think I can also save myself some headache here. There we go. Awesome. And we have our first template created. Fantastic. So I'm going to go ahead and mute everyone for a moment. Any questions up until this point about creating our first template or what templates are? We'll be diving in a little bit more how to use them here shortly. Anything else? Feel free to use the questions channel as well.
Kyle, I thought I read somewhere. I thought I read somewhere that with XHTML, you needed the .type tag at the top, but maybe that's not true, or this Thymeleaf thing isn't really using XHTML.
We can double check. I mean, if it doesn't work, then we can definitely put in doc type too. For good measure, why don't we just go ahead and put in doc type? Let's forget doc type. Is that it? I always forget. Why is my stuff all off for a second? Let me just go ahead and generate that. Yeah, I didn't really see,
Okay.
I haven't really seen any issue with it. But I mean, it's always good to put in that doc type just for safe measure. I never do it, but yeah. I think we had some feedback there. What was that, Mark?
I didn't say anything.
Okay. Alrighty. So yeah, if you do feel like you want to add doc type, feel free to anybody out there. Okay. So let me go ahead and I gotta just double check my HTML here. Why is
You have an extra close in
Oh,
the
it's my body right here.
HTTP.
Oh, thank you. That too. I was also missing my slash here in my body. All right, awesome. So there you go. We have created our first template. So if there's no more questions about this, I see one more person typing, so I'll give it a moment. But then we will move on. And if it is faster, feel free to just speak out your question too. How do you save those templates for future reference? To that, go ahead and view the videos to go through it. What you're gonna do is that you are going to go to right click on anything within resources. You're gonna go to new and then edit file templates. That will bring you to this screen. And in here is where you can add Thymeleaf to have that for future reference.
Oh, Kyle, I was trying to do that, but I don't have that edit file thing when I went through the new drop down.
For that, if you awesome, okay. For if you do not have that option, go ahead and I believe I'm going to double check here. I believe it's under preferences or settings for Windows, and then it is under file. Not exactly what it was. File something here. Right, exactly where it was. Let's see. There it is, file and code templates. So what you do is go to file, or so you'll go to your preferences if you're on a Mac, settings if you're on a Windows, go under editor, go to file and code templates. Here, it is gonna be the same exact screen that Chris uses. What you're gonna do is press the plus up here, call it Thymeleaf. Extension should be HTML, and then paste that given template into here and then press OK. That will add the Thymeleaf template to your IntelliJ. After that, you will have the option to press edit templates, and that should fix your problem. Does that help out?
Okay. Thank you. I'm gonna try it.
Absolutely. If you can't, feel free to reach out to me and we can definitely, I'll give you those instructions too, or we can connect. All right, any other questions? Okie dokie, then let's keep moving forward. All right, so now that we have been able to create templates, let's talk about how we actually utilize them. Let's bring back in that pretty bad looking example we saw before. Remember this down here, this return, which already has 5 lines and appended strings. It looks absolutely terrible. This is not fun at all. Well, luckily we created something very, very nice. We created our index.html. This is where all of that HTML actually lives now. Not only that, we can add cool new functions to it without having to build a string about it. But how do we actually utilize it? Well, what we're going to do is edit the return. We're going to try to insert index to actually return it. And how we do this is we utilize Thymeleaf in a way where we place the name of the file in the return, and Thymeleaf will do the rest of the magic. So we return index. because I want to return the index.html. One more thing that I would need to do before we do that is that take a look at this. We no longer need to return strings of HTML. We're returning something from Thymeleaf. So we can actually get rid of that response body there. So that's how we can actually create our index a lot easier. Let's go ahead and see this in action. We're gonna go to our cat controller here. And what I wanna do is actually show my template. So who can tell me, what do we do? What do we do to show our template? 2 steps.
Return index.
Return index, so return the name of the HTML file without that .html. So awesome. So yes, we're going to be doing index, just like that. Perfect. That's step 1. What was the second step?
Take out response body.
Very good. We're going to take out the response body, or just make sure it's not there. Great. That is it. Let's go ahead and run this and see what happens. Going to start up our server here. There we go. We see that it's started. We come back over here and say localhost host 8080. Press enter. And there we go. Our index.html is now showing up to our screen without having to build that gigantic appended string mess in our controllers.
Hey, Kyle, quick question for you. So
yeah,
it's safe to assume that IntelliJ is smart enough to know that index.html is what you're looking for. So you never need the .html part.
You will not. Nope. It will look for whatever you put in those quotes .html. So basically, put the .html there for you, so you don't have to.
So if you did put the .html in there, it would actually be just looking for index.html.html.
Theoretically, I've never tried that, but that's what I would assume.
Okay.
Yeah, something like that, right? Which technically, I guess you could create that file name. That'd be kind of cool. Awesome question. All right, anybody else have any questions about this?
So as long as what you put in the quotes is a file in your templates folder, it'll work?
That is correct. Yep.
So if you mistyped it, what would happen?
If you mistyped it, let's go and see what that error is. Maybe I typed in too many X's on index. I'm going to go and rerun my server by clicking that button, stop and rerun. It's going to recompile here. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and command refresh. And we will get back this 500. What this 500 says is that it's an internal server error, meaning our controller blew up. That's not good. You'll also see that error resolving template index XX. This is telling you that it has no idea what index XX is. So this is the error that we'll see. So yes, it will just absolutely blow up in our faces if we don't provide a correct template name.
Okay. So if you left the response body in, it would just return the word index with 2 X's?
Absolutely. It will just return the string directly as is. Great question. Mark, did you have a follow-up to that?
So this is working because we added Thymeleaf to our dependencies and we took response body out.
Correct. Correct. And we took response body out. Yep.
Okay.
Why don't I turn that? I need to take the X out. Awesome. And just for net, we don't even need to redo that yet because we're going to keep going. All right. Let's keep moving forward. Oh, come on. There we go. So as we already spoke about, we return the name of the HTML file without the .html, and what it does is it goes and finds the index.html there in our templates, and then it gathers that HTML and then shows that to the page. That is the beauty of templates. We no longer have to have those gigantic strings, we have the files instead. Awesome. All right, easy peasy, right? How could this get any harder? Glad you asked. Let's make it harder. All right, let's go ahead and talk about delivering information to our templates now. What do I mean by that? Well, templates not only simplify the HTML, but it also expands our ability to share information with our page and update it appropriately. Why would we ever want to do that? Think of when you go into your banking application, or if you go into even to just traditional things on the web, it will display, hello, your name. This is the weather for your location. It makes customized content. That's why we like to share information with our websites to customize it to our users' experience. So let's kind of talk about why we can do something like that. We're going to bring back in that cat controller. We have a get mapping, show my cat's homepage, we're returning index. Nothing crazy has changed here. All I'm going to do is I'm going to say, what if I need to add a list of my favorite cats to this page? Well, for that, and I didn't even realize I had this many typos here. What I want to do is create an array list, and it shouldn't be string, comma, string. That's for a hash map. I apologize. It should just be an array list of strings, favorite cats. And then I'm going to add 3 types of cats. I'm going to add Calico, Siamese, and Persian. So these are my favorite cats I'm adding to an array list. But my question is okay, we built this array list. How exactly do we share it with our template? That's the answer we're going to get today. How do we actually share that information is that we're going to add a new concept. The new concept being a model. This model is very powerful. Picture yourself actually going back to the bank, back in the old days when we actually did things in person. Did you ever as a kid or even as yourself go to one of those banks that have like a little tube and you send it back and forth in the drive-through? It's a little shuttle between yourself and the recipient at the very end, maybe sending over a check or some kind of paperwork. That little doohickey, that little cell basically that's transporting between you and the banker is exactly what the model is. The model is the transport mechanism between your Java code and your HTML. It is the transportation mechanism between your Java code and HTML. That's how we can communicate. It's one of the most powerful things we're going to be learning about in these units with the MVC architecture. What I do want to say is that if you're having the question is MVC architecture, the model view controller, is this the model that's in MVC? It is not. It is not. This is not a model of the MVC architecture. This model is a different thing from that. This model is that transport mechanism. Well, the model MVC are our classes that construct our data to specific shapes. I mean, our cat class and our dog class. So I really want to make that. All right, I went on a huge rant there. The question was, how do we actually share this information now over to our template using the model? Well, that's when we use this model.addAttribute method. It takes in 2 parameters. First things first, we actually need to name what this attribute is going to be. What is this data that we're sending over called? In this case, we're going to call it cats. And then in the second parameter, it's actually what we're going to be sending over. What we're actually going to be sending over is that array list, favorite cats. This is how we send over information to our template. Just like this. So we're sending over a thing called cats that's named cats, and it is the array list of all of our favorite cats being sent over to our template. So that being the case, let's go ahead and get this coded up here. Now, first things first, what we do is what are we going to add in our parameters to start being able to send information over to our template? What is it called?
Model.
Look at the model. Very good. Model in there. And model. We're going to import it. Take a very close look. It is coming from the Spring framework. Awesome. And then we're going to go ahead and build that class. Just for fun, how do I build an array list of strings? What do I start with?
Make it a hash map.
We're not going to do hash maps. We're going to do an array list for this one. Hash maps get a little bit trickier. Let's do an array list.
Is it array list, string, something?
Let's say favorite cats. Perfect. Nope, don't do that. Awesome, awesome. Don't import that. And to save us some time, there's a lot of typing in this lecture, so I was like, I'm going to cut some corners for this. So what I did is I added our favorite cats, Calico, Siamese, and Persian there to our array list. And the next thing we need to do now, we need to transport this array list over to our template. How we do that is we say model dot add attribute. The first being what we're actually going to call this attribute, which will be very important later. And then what we're actually going to transport under this name, aka the array list. So we're going to say favorite cats. O-R-I-T-E, cats. There we go. Awesome. We are now officially sending over this information to the template. We go over the template, but we have absolutely no idea how we're actually supposed to be receiving this information. So let's go ahead and dive into that. Let's bring back in that HTML that we were working with, the greatest cat page in the world. We have our favorite cats, and what we want to do is just build a simplistic, unordered list of our cats. So I just want to do 3 list items, all 3 of our cats. How essentially do we do that? Well, now we're going to be taking information and we're going to be doing things with it. So we're going to be needing a few extra tools that Thymeleaf will be providing us. First things first, we're going to introduce you all to the TH block. This Thymeleaf block is powerful, but also very, very light in what it actually does. This guy right here, what that does, if we have a TH block and say we have some HTML inside of it, you write TH block in your HTML. You write the H3 in the paragraph there, but watch what happens after we compile, after we build it. The TH block will then disappear. It will absolutely not be there. If you look through your HTML after it's been built and it's out on the web page, you will never see a TH block. It disappears. So why is that even exactly helpful? Why does it just disappear and it's like a popular thing? Like what's that, whatever is the use case for it? And the fact is that it is used in a lot of things. So we're gonna go back to the TH block and we're gonna see exactly what we can do. With these TH blocks, we can include additional statements to them. In this case, we're going to do a thing called a TH each. You might know a TH each kind of like a for loop or a for each statement. That's what this TH each does. So it acts just like a loop. It's going to loop over something. It needs to know what it's going to loop over. Right now, it's looping over this thing called $ curly bracket cats. What in craziness is that? Well, if you remember, when we passed over that data in the model.add attribute, we called our attribute cats. The $ curly bracket cats inside of it was how we refer to one of the attributes that's being passed over from Java. So it's essentially how we call to it. So we can call again to that attribute by saying $ curly bracket and then the name of the attribute with inside of it. After that, we use cat on the left-hand side as the variable that's being iterated over every single time. So it'll go Calico, then Siamese, and then Persian. It's going to loop over those. So now we can utilize cat, the single cat, in additional HTML. Let's see what additional HTML we would do. Let's build a list item. But now I'm doing something even more crazy. I'm doing this TH text thing. What TH text does is it tells Thymeleaf to inject text into this tag. What text will actually be inserted? It's whatever the cat variable is. So again, the first iteration will be, Calico, then Siamese, and then Persian. So each iteration will be a different cat and we'll inject that into there as text. Just like that. So this right here is how we can use some of those Thymeleaf tags or attributes to do some cool work in our HTML. So let's go ahead and see it in action. You guys ready for this? That's a lot of stuff we just covered. So let's actually see what we get when we do that. I'm going to take out this paragraph. And what I'm going to put in here is an H5, my favorite cats, /H5. And what I said I was going to do here is that we need to make a TH block. But before that, I forgot one more thing. We need to create an unordered list, or you can make it ordered, either one, but I'm just going to choose unordered for this scenario. We do TH block. And then who remembers what is the case where we can use a for loop or some kind of for loop concept in Thymeleaf? What is the attribute that we're going to be using for this one? There we go. Jeez, sorry about that. Go ahead and feel free to yell it out to me.
TH.
Each.
Very good. Each. Awesome, awesome. And who remembers what goes inside of the quotes?
Cat.
Was cat or
$, or curly brace cats.
Very good. Absolutely, yes. So this is our attribute, the name of our attribute that we're passing over to HTML. Well, cat is that arbitrary variable that we use that's going to be used to iterate over. So it's going to hold the value as it's iterating. Then in here, we're going to create our list item. So we say li for list item. And now I want to inject text. What is the attribute for that one?
TH text.
TH text. Awesome. Just like that. And now I got to call to the variable. When I need to call to any variable within my Thymeleaf templates, I do $ curly bracket cat. Cat is a variable up here. So I put it down here. If I just put cat without this $ curly brackets, it's just going to inject cat over and over and over, like literally the word cat over and over, which is not what we want. So that's what we have here. Let's see if this actually works. Let's see if I'm not just blowing smoke. I'm actually really hoping. It was like, I created that template by myself. So I'm like, fingers crossed this works. All right, we're started up. Let's go ahead and refresh this page. Fantastic, look at that. Welcome to the greatest cat page. My favorite cats are Calico, Siamese, Persian. This is showing us that you are successfully transferring information from Java back over to your templates. Congratulations. You have now completed both directions. You now know how to send information over to HTML using those post requests and information from your Java to your HTML using models, passing them as add attributes or the add attributes method. So fantastic. Any questions about what we just saw or what we just did? Anything at all? Not even a wow, that's how it works. I'm like, yes, that's how it works. Isn't that crazy?
That's
Okay.
amazing, Kyle.
That's amazing. Thank you.
Kyle,
Yes.
on the TH each line, cat is just sitting out there. And it's only in the next line, the TH text line, that it needs the $ curly bracket. Can you talk more about that? In line 11, you're just creating a variable in front of the semicolon?
Yeah, so
Okay,
here we're
colon.
creating, yeah, for sure. So here we're creating the variable. So we are actually making its creation. It's being there now. In the $ curly brackets is when we're referring to it.
Huh. Okay.
So we only want to refer to it in the $ curly brackets. We create it without them. We don't need to create a variable like this with them. It's only when you refer to them.
Interesting. Okay. And then because this word in HTML, we don't need to give it static typing or anything.
No, Thymeleaf is, you'll see that Thymeleaf, just like JavaScript, is very loosey-goosey. It doesn't need strict types or anything like that. It's like, just give it to me and I'll try my hardest. That's what Thymeleaf's mentality is.
Awesome question, Mark.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure. It's a great way to think about it too. Yeah, I haven't been able to explain like that. So yeah, I will start teaching more like it creates it like this, refers to it in that $. Fantastic question. Any others out there? Anything at all? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Until next time I ask for more questions. All right, let's keep on going then. All right. So let's actually talk about what's going on with that. So we're going to dive a little bit deeper into what this th each is actually doing. So we have this th block and then this th each. Remember, the th block is just going to disappear. So what's actually happening? For your reference, remember our array list values are going to be Calico, Siamese, and Persian. So when this actually runs, when Thymeleaf is compiling your stuff, what's happening is that it's going to first to see on your array of cats, you have Calico. Excuse me. After Thymeleaf is done building, it will then print out the list item Calico for you. Because again, we use th text to inject Calico into your li tag. So this is what it builds afterwards. After that, we go to Siamese and injects that text again and creates the list item Siamese. And then down to Persian and creates that list item. So what Thymeleaf is not necessarily saying, do this and only this. You're kind of giving it instructions on how to build your website when it's being compiled. So you're giving it instructions on how to actually build your site for you. Isn't that neat? It actually provides the powerful architecture we need to build those customized websites and do things we haven't been able to do with just static HTML. And it's much cleaner than doing just a JavaScript approach to it. Essentially, this is kind of a way that we can add more of a JavaScripty feel, how we had it back in Unit 1, just like this. With you like caveats here and there. I see one person typing, so we'll give it a moment. Oh, there we go. Okay. So, okay, so the question is, so how would this interact with the main page in Java, or do we never use the main for access? Andrew, are you talking about the main method inside of Java? So there's no main, okay, so the main method, if you're talking about the main method is our starting point in Java. So every time we start our server, it starts from actually the main method. It's actually going to be right here in the pet store application. This is where our main begins. And it's how we run our Spring Boot applications. So you're not ever really technically reacting with your main. Instead, it's just the starting point. So I might need more elaboration on your question, or did that provide the answer? And if it didn't, I would like more context about exactly what you're looking for. Just because main is, again, just the starting point. It's the start point of the string that runs your entire application. So when we're talking about interactions, that's all happening after main gets started. And if anybody else is also curious about this and has elaborations on this question, feel free to share. Happy to explain as much as I can. And if it is faster, feel free to just talk too, if you're comfortable with that. Otherwise, we got some more stuff to go through and we might have to continue on. Oh, geez, Louise. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Feel free to, all right, Andrew, feel free to shout out if you'd like.
Sorry, we're good. Go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, no, all good. If you want to dive more into it too, just feel free to direct message me at the end of the question and I am happy to continue on with that. All right, so yeah, this is where that main is hidden, is on that pet store application. All right. So bringing back in our show My Cats homepage, we're going to go all ahead and just bring in this tuna byte. And we need to pass an attribute named treat to a template. Go ahead and tell me, how exactly do we do this? How do I pass this my treat over to my HTML, over to my template? Somebody talk to me.
Model.add attribute.
Very good. Awesome start. What do we do in the first parameter?
Variable of what you're going to name it.
Right, we want to dictate a name in a string. So in this case, I'll just call it treat. And then what's the second parameter?
My treat.
Yeah, exactly. It's what we actually want to pass over. So it will be my treat there. It will be the string we want to pass over to there. That being the fact, if I want to return a template named treats-list on this show my cat's homepage, what do I return? What am I going to do here in this get mapping to tell our compiler that I want to show treats-list.html, the template?
Return index.
So it's not return index.
Return treats.
Return treats.
Return treats-list. Look up here. Have a get request, return a template named treats-list.html. We use the entirety of the HTML name and we return that minus the .html. So if we have an HTML out there. Yeah, if the HTML was already made.
Okay.
Yeah, if it was, sorry, we're just talking about an arbitrary HTML file if it was named treats-list.html.
Okay.
So very good. It would be return treats-list there. All right, if we want to inject text from the treat attribute using Thymeleaf into a p tag, a paragraph tag, how would we do that? What attribute are we going to do?
TH block.
Text.
TH block is the one that will disappear after compilation. To inject text.
Text.
TH colon text.
TH text.
Absolutely, yes. So block is what we used also with the TH each statement. So if we're building maybe loops or if we're doing if statements, which we'll talk about here shortly, you'd use a TH block. All right, bring in the properties and methods of the class pet into the cat class. How do we do that? So if I had a pet class and I wanted to bring all of its properties and methods into the cat class, what would I put?
Extend.
Give me the whole thing. You do have that right though.
Public class cat extends pet.
Very good. Yes, absolutely correct. Awesome. All right. What if I want to loop through an array list passed as an attribute to a template? How do we do that one?
TH each.
That's correct. But we also want to use it typically with a
TH block.
Very good. TH block. Awesome job. Virtual high five. Fantastic.
Does TH each only go through an array list? What about like a hash map or is it only a list?
We can see about the hash maps. It will go through a hash map in a certain regard. That one will be a little bit trickier how we do hash maps, kind of why I avoided it. We'll talk about that as we move on with more complex ones. But it can go through arrays. It can basically whatever a typical for each loop can loop through.
Can it go through JSON?
Can do. It would have to be in a certain structure. Remember, even if we're still in TH, we're still using a kind of form of Java. So you'd have to format your JSON into a Java representation. So some kind of object. So great question there. JavaScript is the one that you're looking for that can usually do JSON without any special things. All right. Any other questions? Yes.
So for TH text, you do not need the TH block, but for TH each, you do need the TH block.
In most regards, yes. You could do the TH text in the TH block if you wanted, but remember, TH block just disappears afterwards. So the text would just be floating out there. It wouldn't be wrapped in any tags. So yes, you can. You can basically use TH text and TH each in any tag that you want. It's an attribute. You can use it in any tag you want. But I'm showing you the most common representations that they're used. So you'll typically do a TH each within a block. Sometimes you can do it in a list item or on a list. That's also possible too. You'll see that in assignment 3 or 4 here soon. as well as th text. It's all about the where you use them and what happens in that kind of situation. So sorry about the very ambiguous answer there. The answer is, unfortunately, it depends on what you're trying to do, but they can be used interchangeably between all tags.
But it sounds like if we include the TH block and that it's not going to make sense, we'll see it readily apparent when we run the program, like that we shouldn't have a TH block there because it'll just look wrong.
Correct, yeah. When you inspect your HTML, you'll see that it didn't come out, it didn't build properly. And that will be your indicator that maybe it wasn't the right tag to use it with.
Okay.
Great question. Awesome. All right, any other questions? All right, then let's go one quick round. Let's take a breather here. Help me out, answer some questions here. Can cats do this? Can cats taste sweetness? Yes or no?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Did
The
we
answer
tell
is
them they could?
no. The answer is no. I don't know who figured it out, who asked the cat. Apparently they can't taste sweetness. Like, all right. How about this? Can they run up to 30 miles an hour?
Yep.
Sure.
Yes.
They sure
Depends
can.
on how
can,
loud your
yes.
vacuum
Those
is.
critters are fast. They are.
Are we
fast.
counting cheetahs?
Well, I think domestic cats. These are domestic cat facts. All right. Can they survive falls over 65 feet?
Maybe.
Yes.
I don't
If
know
they
who
land
tested
feet
this
first?
poor cat out, but yes, they absolutely can. They land on their feet.
I have something.
What was that? What's that?
You know the cheetah is not the fastest animal. It's actually the peregrine falcon.
True. It is
Also,
true.
do you know what the world's largest desert is?
What's that?
Does anyone know?
Antarctica.
Yep, it's Antarctica.
Nice. I'm learning more trivia facts. This is great. Awesome, everyone. All right.
Abby, wait.
So real quick here. Awesome. All right. So that is most of the slides there. What I do want to go into though is just a few additional things about Thymeleaf that I don't really have slides for, but I do want to actually just show examples. The first one is the if statements. Just like in Java, just like in JavaScript, we can do conditionals in Thymeleaf. Isn't that awesome? So what does that mean when we can do a conditional in Thymeleaf? It means that if a condition is true, it will build whatever's inside of it. So let's go ahead and see what I mean by that. We're going to say div th if, and now I need to actually make a conditional. To do that, I need to start referring to variables. So I'm going to go ahead and put the $sign curly bracket. The only variable I really have passing over to this to this template right now is the cats. So I'm going to say if cats dot size is equal to 3, then I'm going to print out H1, you like a lot of cats. This is how we can create a conditional within Thymeleaf. So I'm going to rerun and see what happens here. Okay, go and refresh. I don't know what I do. Oh, because Kyle's in JavaScript mode, because he's been in JavaScript mode all day. There we go. Don't do the triple equals. Thank you. Very good catch. Yes, that was a test. I did triple equals. That does not exist in Java. All right, we're restarted now. Hop back over here. What'd you do? There we go. Press enter and we refreshed, and I like a lot of cats because our list was equal to 3. What happens if we take it out or maybe make it into a false statement, say 2? Because remember, our array list is a size of 3. Let's go ahead and rerun this and see what happens. right? Stark would be bummed. Don't tell Stark. Refresh this and take a look here. We don't have that H1 in there anymore, that I like a lot of cats, because we changed our conditional. So what happens when we built our stuff is that the H1 never got rendered. So that's the power of the if statements. It actually shows or does not show depending on a conditional. So also one question that I didn't get tonight that I do want to explain is that we can pass multiple attributes. So I can say model.add attribute, call it show warning, and I'm going to pass in true. So I'm passing in a Boolean there. I come back over to our index.html and I say if show warning equals true, or I could just put show warning, either one. I'm going to rerun this, stop and rerun. Come back over here, still running, there we go. Warning, you like a lot of cats. So what we did is we passed in 2 attributes into our model, passed them over to our template, and used them as such. So just like that, we said show warning, again, because over in the cat controller, I added this attribute. Look at that. Isn't that just cool? We passed so many models in there. All right. Real quick, any questions on that? Anything specifically there you want to see before we hop into a little thing called fragments?
I have a question for you after this lecture before I go to studio. Can I talk to you about something?
For sure. Just yell at me whenever we're getting off here to stay online, and I definitely will.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. All right. Any other questions?
Is everything going into a single model?
In this regard right here? That's highlighted?
In this case, yes, it is, but.
Mm-hmm. So it's all, so we run only one method per template because we only have one get mapping per template. So it all gets packed into one model and sent on over. Kind of back to our analogy is that you pack in all your checks into one little thing and then you send it over to the banker. So yep, everything gets packed into one model. Technically with this, I don't actually know if there's a true way to do an else statement there. What I would recommend is that you typically do the opposite. Do false. And then you don't like a lot of cats. So that would be kind of an else statement, is that you do the exact opposite of the Boolean below it for this kind of if statement. Yeah, Regan, we're going to hop into fragments next. All right, one more person's typing, and then there we go. Remind us how we would get info from the cat controller through the pet store application to appear on the web page. So the pet store application will play no role whatsoever in anything that we're doing with Spring Boot. The only role that it really plays is that it's our starting point for our Spring Boot application. If that's the file that we're referring to, all it is the on switch for our server. That's what pet store application is. It's just that on switch. How we send information from the cat controller to the web page is through those models. This is how we send it from Java to HTML. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Great to see. All right. I feel like fragments, everybody wants to see them, so let's go ahead and do that. Inside of templates, what I'm going to do now is that we're going to go through fragments. What are fragments? Fragments are little pieces of HTML that we are too lazy to consistently write. So on websites, if you go to them, you typically see a lot of repetitive images or creations on there. The typical one being, we go over here, is the header, the toolbar at the top. This is extremely repetitive code because it's on every single one of your pages. If you have a very large website with maybe 100 pages, you don't have to go through and code or copy and paste 100 times this toolbar at the top. That's where fragments comes in. Helps us out with that. So first things what we do is that we right click new, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to be that lazy developer and go right to my Thymeleaf template that I've already created beforehand. I'm going to call it fragments.html. Press enter. This is from a previous back in the day stuff, not here either. Wow, that's, there we go. Kyle, I guess, had a real beer in a stein that day. Jeez. All right. So what we have here is our header, our title, our body, and now we want to actually create fragments. Where we create the fragments is typically in the body, things that we want to see. How we do that is I'm going to just create something very easy. I'm going to do a paragraph of just a little bit of a template. What I'm going to say is th fragment. You have to include this attribute, th fragment, to tell Thymeleaf this is going to be a fragment I'm going to reuse elsewhere in my code. So th fragment equals, and then the name of the fragment. Name of the fragment, there we go. And then whatever I want to place inside of it. So stuff goes here. Awesome, awesome. There we go. Easy peasy. Let's go and create a little bit of a harder one. Let's say I want to create a div, th fragment, and name it a bigger fragment. There we go. And now inside of here, I can put more paragraphs. So I can actually put children inside of here that are going to be inserted as well, but we'll see that in a moment. Each one, stuff, stuff, stuff. There we go. All right, so we just created 2 fragments, awesome. But if I restarted my server right now, nothing would change, absolutely nothing. Because we haven't used these fragments anywhere. How do we use them? That's a great question. Let's get that answer. Let's hop over to index.html. Now, actually, you know, that'd be hilarious. Let's go and do that. We're going to replace this if statement with what we just did. And what I'm going to do is update that fragment to say you don't like a lot of cats. I want to use this fragment if my user doesn't have a lot of, or doesn't like a lot of cats, or for whatever regard. I'm going to go back over to index.html. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to insert my fragment here. So what I do is that I need to make sure I use the same exact tag as my fragment is. Exact same tag as my fragment is. If I go over to fragments, I'm going to be inserting this one. It is a p tag, paragraph tag. So I go over to index, I say p, and then th replace. And then the name of the fragment. I don't think I put the in that one. Let me make sure. Make sure I spell it correctly. There we go, index.html. Perfect. And then this says show warning at equal false. So what I'm going to do real quick, I need to say false. Let's see what happens. Awesome. We're going to come over to localhost. Cross our fingers. Oh no. Oh my gosh, Kyle, what are you doing? You forgot one big piece. Does anyone know what I'm missing?
Close the P.
Oh, I could do that. I'll give you a half brownie point for that one. But it's not exactly what I'm missing. Who can tell me what it is? 8 brownie points on the line.
Curly brackets?
No, not brackets either. What we're looking for actually
You need the
is that we
name of the file.
You need to name the
File.
variable. Yeah.
We actually need to say fragments. Yeah, very good. Name of the file, double colon, and then name of the fragment to tell it where our fragment actually is and replace it with this one that is there. Very good.
Why do we do double colon?
So basically because a single colon is dictating a for each loop typically. And double colon is telling it, so we can't do single colon. So we're like, okay, let's go double colon. Double colon means go to fragments and reach out to this fragment name.
Okay.
So it is just, we were running out of characters to use. So I think they just doubled up the colons. And now it says, you don't like a lot of cats. Very good. Let's go ahead and do one more. What I did is created another fragment here, and I said this div, a th fragment, a bigger fragment. Let's go ahead and add that in there. We want to create a div. I say th what? Replace. I saw people mouthing it. Very good. Awesome, awesome. Say fragments. Just like that. Save. Restart our server. Stop and rerun. Refresh that, and now we actually have those divs that are in our fragment files being injected into our index.html as it's being built. So there we go. We gave our Thymeleaf a set of instructions of how to build our page, and it built it just for us. Awesome, awesome. Here we go. All right. I see a question here. Would you say that fragments are kind of like Angular components? In a way, absolutely, yes. They are a lot like components. They lack a little bit of the flexibility sometimes of how things like how information is passed around, data flow. But you're absolutely right in the basic concept. Yes, it injects that HTML in there. Very, very good thought. A lot like components. All right. Anything else? One more thing I want to show you, if we have enough time, and if you guys are willing, I have one bonus credit thing to show you. But what I wanted to show you guys real quick is a thing called Bootstrap. This is becoming, or this is going to become a very popular thing in Liftoff. I believe it's still popular there. Basically, these scripts and links are already given to you in the Bootstrap section of your reading, if you were wondering where I got them from. What I did is I pasted them in head. What is Bootstrap? Bootstrap is a standard for styling. It is essentially a artistic rendering of how to make components, buttons, and other form objects, or like in text in general, anything on your page look a certain way. Bootstrap is basically guidelines of CSS for your page. It will place in awesome looking styles that you don't have to build yourself. That's what Bootstrap is. Bootstrap saves us time and effort when it comes to just styling buttons or styling how our page looks or anything like that. Let's see if it styles anything for us right off the bat. There we go. So as we can see, once I injected Bootstrap in here, it changed my text for me just right off the bat. So it changed it from the typical computer version to something that's more stylish and cool. If you are curious to see what Bootstrap has to offer, I do recommend going to the Bootstrap v4 page and kind of seeing exactly what it has to offer. So this is the whole page about it. You can go to, I forgot what's the good one. Like, let's see, don't need that, don't need that. Components, there we go. So maybe I wanted to do this cool little alert thing. Let's go and do that. Come back in here. Go and paste that. I just copied something arbitrary out of there. I don't even know what it was. I didn't see. Oh, it's a little alert box. That's cute. Let's see what it is. Go back over to our local host. Look at that. Cool little info box popped up with cool text in there, already styled and everything. It's right there. So this is what it's going to do, is help us out by just putting those styles to it. So you can come down here and just see everything it has to offer. So it has some cool additional content. The buttons are pretty neat here. Let's see, nav bar, things at the top, helps out. So basically they did a lot of work for you, so you don't have to worry about the styling. You can get right to the point and actually building your site what it's for. So that is Bootstrap in a nutshell. Any questions on any of that? Anything in particular about Thymeleaf, templates, fragments? No. All right. In that case, next week, we're going to be talking about how we can utilize our models to talk to our page, and then our page talk back to our controllers, and enjoy that cycle right there.
Can I talk to you?
Oh, not done yet. But yeah,
Okay.
feel free to stick around, and we'll absolutely hold on to that. All right.
Okay.
So if that is the case, everyone, ooh, I'm gonna actually do that. There we go. We are all finished here. Of course, I had to go back to the slide just to see this little cat tipping a little hat. Look at him. He thinks he's a person. All right, everyone. That is all I got for y'all today. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out directly to me. Other than that, have a fantastic weekend. Stay safe. I won't see you all Monday, but you'll have a guest lecture, so make sure you come back. And then I will see you next class. I believe we have Thursday, but if we don't, I'll see you after that.
Oh, shit.
Other
We're
than
doing
that,
module with the guest speaker with you next week.
you'll most likely be doing it with the guest lecturer.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
All right.